Imagine if SMAUG took up a console and the only title on it was Spire paired with a grid-based DLC. None Shall Intrude is a card-battling, grid-based fantasy roguelite which sees us become a large, fire-breathing dragon as an actual game boss, reenact a recent West Coast city's predicament, fight against knights, bounty hunters and spellcasters with the goal to create our own desolation. None Shall Intrude released on the 21st of January this year, seeing me play more than 10 hours to nearly unlock every possible boss mechanic. So join me while we explore this new title, what it's all about and the biggest missed opportunity in gaming history. With strong wings and an even stronger fire breath, we venture into a country to face off against various enemies on a grid-based battlefield, using numerous cards to shoot fireballs, slash at our opponents and create devastating elemental effects with the very clever spell system. Each grid can have an elemental property split into a few possibilities, and depending on which spell we use, it can be heavily impacted to defeat every human or even building on the battlefield. Clearing out whole sections of the map sees us gain artifacts to empower our current run, while each move sees the 3-act bosses getting closer. Once one of these bosses is here, we are greeted by a short cutscene and the option to prepare for this fight by changing our own boss mechanics. These rely on our health bar being split into 3, and depending on which percentage our health currently has, different effects take place. Once we finish all 3 acts or bite the dust during a fight, the roguelite run is over and we gain experience points and level ups for a talent tree, new boss mechanics and currency to fill our layer with decorative additions like coins, a trophy rack or succubi with a rack. To obtain this currency we have to succeed in the many battles, which are split into 2 turns, one being ours where we use the limited mana we have to play cards and change the battlefield on a geological level, and the other being the enemy's turn, trying to get in attack range, while most fights have a hero accompanied using their own set of cards. None Shall Intrude uses a well thought out system of spells impacting the battlefield in many different ways. One card, for example, forms a rocky terrain, while another leaves a scorching ground. If we hit either with another fire spell, the rocky terrain explodes, dealing additional damage, while the scorching ground becomes a lava pit, periodically damaging enemies standing on it. With other spells creating gusts of winds, allowing to push back enemies with tornadoes or create elemental chain reactions on the whole battlefield, it becomes incredibly satisfying to devastate the whole arena. Apart from these elemental effects, the game further offers a dragon-based combo, with inhaling abilities powering up exhaling ones. This sees us entering the inhale state and double the damage numbers on exhale cards. It wouldn't be a true boss simulator if our dragon wouldn't have an additional boss power, in form of a raging meter that fills up, and once the maximum is reached, a powerful all-hitting attack shoots over the battlefield. With these ultimate abilities, elemental and breathing combinations, we take care of our enemies, reducing the health bars to 0. Once the fight is over, we get to rummage through the human remains, take up new cards to use, relics to empower various effects, gold coins to spend in the shop, and a buff for our max health. With the new cards and helpful artifacts, our ongoing run gets impacted and allows for a slight form of customization, while the far larger part of our playstyle is impacted by the mentioned boss mechanics as well as the few talents we get to pick before we start a run. There, we focus on meteorites smashing the battlefield, set the road for a melee-focused fighting style, or become a breeding machine summoning whelps that fight for us, to name a few examples. With 5 different dragon types to choose from, we further see broader changes to our dragon's power, with the black dragon getting stronger fireballs, the blue dragon focusing on wind-based skills, while the green dragon has some form of STD, using poison balls instead of fireballs. And here you can see the major issue I have with the game. Regardless of which dragon type we pick, the color of the dragon doesn't change, which is the most disappointing decision in gaming history. I am actually speechless on how this was missed or not even thought about, since the design of all characters is decent. So a small recoloring of the main character shouldn't be that big of a deal, right? Apart from this huge bummer, the replayability of the current 3 acts is beefed up by the explorable map and different difficulty setting called armaments. The world gives us the unusual roguelike choice of freely traversing on different paths with randomly generated enemy or event encounters waiting for us. This allows us to either stay in the current section to clear all activities, burn the area to the ground and get rewarded with relics, or move along to other areas with 5 additional side bosses to take down. While these not only give us special relics we can use during the current run, we further unlock new boss mechanics and collectibles from them usable in the ever-growing cave. The mentioned armaments are modifying our next run, giving us a tougher challenge by, for example, making the enemies move further each turn, empower the hero's card's usage, or reduce our health regeneration. While these armaments and the few but powerful talents change our game style heavily, summing up into a decent replayability, the current plans of the devs to add an additional act and more variety in the first 3 acts shows great potential that they will at some point add color schemes and skins for the dragons. And a quick side note, while I was writing and recording the script, the developers added a roadmap showing they plan to do just that, adding 2 huge content updates with skins and more replayability features. Guess my script is now for naught. None Shall Intrude combines a clever combat system, devastating combo attacks through the various elemental spells, a good replayability and a blood pressure increasing design choice, which the developers plan to fix in the future. This sees None Shall Intrude becoming an absolute great fun to play. Would you agree with my verdict? Let me know in the comments. And animal fun fact number 7, only female mosquitoes sting. Isn't that interesting?